Well. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning. Yeah, I'm up early this morning, man. I'm fixing me some breakfast. Now, as I was viewing certain things on YouTube, on these YouTube streets, I see that I started hearing the rain outside. So some said go to your front door and check outside. It's raining. So 9 times out of 10, a lot of the jobs, a lot of the tickets that we have, the certain company I work for sometime, uh, those tickets get canceled out. But let me look outside again. Yeah, it's still raining out here. Oh man, this weather in South Carolina is really funny. Anyway, to make a long story short, I was on Barbara Girl Tina's channel yesterday, and I don't know what it is. It's just like it seems like in certain channels I go to or certain chats I go to, I run into different issues with different people on this app, and I was thinking there was someone trolling me in Barbie Girl Tina chat, and the young lady she came up, she did a video this morning, and I was able to talk to her, and my perception was all the way wrong. So I'm glad we got that straightened out. So today is Thursday. Yesterday was Wednesday. So today is Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. Uh, I got a few more days before I have to do anything else. So it is what it is. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. This is your home girl, Arabia Barbosa, 914 Westchester County, New York. Unfortunately, I'm still in South Carolina. And the only thing I can say, I'm ready to retire. I'm ready to get the fuck on and retire. So I don't have to worry about going out and certain weather or not, stuff like that. I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like participating in that. The only thing I can say, my channel seems to be doing pretty good. But sometimes if I feel like I have an issue with someone, I'm gonna say it. I just can't keep it to myself. I just gotta say it. But unfortunately for me, I can't do that. On my bigger channel, which I had over 600 subscribers, I don't even use that channel. I don't even use it at all. And I was on that channel for like over a year, good year. And but like I said, I've been doing videos on and off since 2017. Oh no. Now I looked at the weather report and they said it's supposed to this rain is supposed to end before 6 o'clock. But I already know from past experience when you go out in weather like this and you go to the office, a lot of the jobs are canceled out. And we're in a competition with other companies. But I don't see anything really happening for me today. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to get in a hissy fit about it. Only thing I can do is just go on with my day. But hopefully I probably won't even stay in the house all day. I probably leave out because I want to go to the unemployment office and do my paperwork. Because in certain instances, you can file for unemployment. Only thing you gotta let them know, okay, let's say that you are working, right? You working like a little part-time job, da da da. You can file for unemployment. You can file. You can start collecting unemployment. Only thing I gotta let them know is which company I'm working for, what's going on with that, how many hours I work for them, and let them know the situation. Now, when you file for unemployment at South Carolina, what they do, I'm gonna tell you what they do. They get in touch with whoever you work for. That's what they do, and that's great with me. You know what I mean? But like I said, a few weeks ago, a lot of our people left. Either they're working a regular job or they have retired. And me personally, I am ready to fucking retire. I don't know about anybody else. I don't know what anybody else is doing. I am fucking ready to fucking retire. And it is crazy. Oh my goodness. YouTube. We are definitely in the matrix. We are definitely in the in between. We are definitely in a battlefield. Sometimes YouTube can be a tool of helping other people. Sometimes certain things don't need to be put out there. Don't matter how you feel. Don't matter what you think. Don't matter what you believe. You know what I mean? And sometimes you got to do some clear research. You do. Unfortunately for me, I don't do a whole lot of research. When I think someone is trolling me or coming for me, immediately I go into battle mode. I put on my helmet, got on my armor, I'm ready. And it's ridiculous. It has been ridiculous on this app. And that big channel that I did have, it's still up. It's still up. That channel is up. That channel is always going to be up. It's not going to come back down because I'm not on it. I'm on this channel. I did have another channel beside the other big channel I had. I had Barbosa Co-op. And that channel was totally different from this one and the bigger one. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. I don't feel too good today because I did plan on going to work today. Now the plans have changed. It's okay. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about that at all. I do got some money saved up so I can do whatever I want today. And today just might be my day to go to the unemployment office and do my other paperwork and do my other research and try to get another job where I can work and don't have to worry about days it might be raining or other bad weather coming, because right now we're in hurricane season. This is the hurricane season for South Carolina. And I should have never moved back to South Carolina. To be honest, I should have never, ever had moved back to South Carolina. I totally forgot about the hurricane season. Me personally, when I moved from New York, I was happy I was leaving the real cold, frigid weather. It'd be brick outside. It'd be snowing. New York has a lot of northeasters. Northeastern storms are similar to hurricanes, but it's on a smaller level. With nor'easters, you got a lot of wind and a lot of rain, and sometimes that particular storm will, last for a couple of hours. It's more, a nor'easter is worse than a rainstorm. I'm gonna put it like that. when that type of weather shows up in New York, it shows up. Everyone is trying to run and trying to rush here, trying to rush there. I mean, it is like a madhouse in New York. And I don't mean no harm. I love New York. I'm from New York. I was born there. 5 generation New Yorker. 5 generation New Yorker. And I'm in South Carolina. And I was like, damn. But I don't want to do like my homegirl Baltimore did, because Baltimore is from Baltimore. But she said that she didn't have no real ties to South Carolina. That's one of the reasons why she left. But she did not go back to Baltimore. She went to Texas. And that's a 3-day trip from here. That's 3 days away. Leaving from South Carolina to go to Texas, that takes 3 days if you're driving in the car. It's less time if you're on an airplane or, airplane and stuff. It takes less time to get to Texas. And me personally, I don't know what's out there in Texas. I have no plans on moving to Texas. I have no plans to move to California or none of those other places. I have no plans. And the only reason why I want to move back to New York is because there's coming a time where I'm going to want to retire. And to get the most money, I would have to move back to New York. I would have to be there, to get like my full retirement. And I remember my father, when he retired, he died at the age of 63. So he was already retired, but he wasn't fully retired. And he was 2 years short of becoming fully retired. And he didn't make it. One of his sisters, which is my Aunt Ernestine, she died in 2000, and I believe she died in 2018. And she was 69 years old. So when she fully retired, she was 65, and she only had 4 years to enjoy her retirement. And she couldn't enjoy nothing because she was having a lot of heart problems, a lot of heart trouble. You know what I mean? So it's like, you're damned if you do, and you do if you're damned. I don't know how to say it, but it is what it is. A shout out to the chat. It is early in the morning. I know. I realize that. I got the oven on, heating up my breakfast. And I guess in a few more hours, I'll be able to make a decision on what to do, where to go, who to talk to, which phone calls to make today. And it is what it is. And that's the only thing I can really say. I can't really say anything else, can't really do anything else. So it is what it is. But sometimes what I'm saying is sometimes your perception of people, and especially if you're not really paying attention, you know what I mean? And in my case, when I was in Barbie Girl Tina chat yesterday, I didn't really pay any attention to anything or anyone else but what the content was, who was in the chat, what was talked about. And there was one particular person in that chat, he ended up hitting the piano and stuff. I guess he was trying to clown me or whatever the case might have been. And I was like, well, good. It's good that don't nobody knows what between my legs. My mother used to always talk about that. And she used to always say, well, if people don't know what your true sex is, that means you're doing good. Well, what about the people that do know what's between your legs? You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I can't believe this shit, y'all. Hold on. Okay, it's still raining. So the only thing, you know what I'm going to do? When I get off of here, I'm gonna call the office and see if they got anything going on after 7 o'clock this morning. And if worse come to worse, one of the drivers will come pick me up at my house. They've done this before. They have done that before. So I think they did it like twice since I've been knowing them. And the other company was like that too. So I work for pretty cool people and stuff like that. I mean, I don't have a problem walking in. I don't. I don't have an issue walking anywhere. I need to walk as much as possible anyway. But I've been lately, y'all. I don't mean no harm. Lately, I've been wearing my waist trainer. I wear waist trainers when I go to work now, and I think that's helping a lot with, uh, I guess, the way I feel about myself, man. Because I'm chunky now, but I was not this chunky a few years ago. So it took time for me to gain this weight, and I'm trying to get this weight off, but it's gonna take me a little bit long time to do it because I'm not young no more. I'm not in my 20s. I'm not in my 30s. My 40s have gone. I think I started gaining this weight when I was 48 years old. 48 years old. And you know what? I didn't notice. I didn't notice right away that I was getting big until there was one particular day I was downtown and I was at the waterfront. And one of my homeboys, he had walked up on me and he was like, Arabia, is that you? I was like, yeah, it's me. Yeah, it's me, nigga. Who else you think it is? He said, girl, you on got so big, so fat. Because I told y'all I used to be real small. I was smaller than what I am now. And I talked to Baltimore before she left, right? And I said, Baltimore, you remember when you first came to South Carolina? She said, yeah, Arabia, you was not as heavy as you are now. You was not heavy at all. You was real thin. So only thing I can do is, look out for myself, take care of myself, do what I need to do for myself. And I had really planned on going to work today. But see, tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow is Friday. And sometimes we run into difficulties getting on tickets on Friday. But nonetheless, I'm going to call the office this morning and see what they got going on. You know what I mean? And 9 times out of 10, they're going to end up picking me up. Wherever I'm at in North Charleston, they're going to end up they're going to send the driver. The driver going to end up picking me up, and I'm going to end up on somebody's ticket. Just like I was the other day. Unfortunately for me, I had to write my own self on the ticket. I had to write my name actually on the fucking ticket. So, but me and my coworker, we went there that day and we wiped out that job way before 2 o'clock. We was gone off that job site. I think we left around 2:45 because there was some other things that the boss needed us to do. Because before lunch, we cleared out most of that building. Everything he wanted moved, everything he wanted cleaned was done. Whatever trash was in the building was removed. Whatever debris was in the building, we removed it. We put everything out in the trash, put everything in the dumpster. And we just kept working on the floor. And of course, I went into the other area. I let my coworker stay in the area he was at, and I went into the other area. And I started picking up all the trash. I started removing all the debris. I started sweeping the floor, sweeping up everything, making it look as neat as possible. You know what I mean? So that's all I do. Like when I go to do these construction jobs, that's all I do. I do that all day, every day. You know what I mean? I last year, no problem. No problem getting on certain tickets, whether I'm doing demolition, whether I'm doing dishwashing. Uh, I remember a couple of months ago, I was on a dishwashing job. And what happened was we had over 700 people that night. I didn't leave that job site until 3:30 in the morning. 3:30 in the morning. And I think the only YouTuber that was up that I'm subscribed to was Brown Skin Lady. So I ended up leaving from that area. I walked down to the waterfront. I stayed down there for maybe an hour and then I left. And I went back to the office. I gave the lady my ticket. Um, she cashed me out. I went to the store. I withdrew some money off of my debit card and I got on the bus and I went home. That's what I did. And then later on, I started working at Walmart. And then later on, down the line, I went back to the temp service and started working through them. After that, I went and had me a dishwashing job for a little while. You know, certain things happened. I left, went back to the company I've been dealing with. So this has been my relationship with working for a couple of years now. I'm just ready to fucking retire. I am ready to fucking retire. And that's the way I would like to say that, you know. To me, retirement is so important to me. Retiring for me is so important for me. And that's the only thing I can say. No. I just couldn't believe it. I got up this morning around 2 o'clock. I've been up ever since 2 o'clock. Now it's almost 3:30. So I've been up for almost an hour. And I'm trying to figure out, would it be cool for me to leave here in another hour? And I checked the weather report and it says it's supposed to rain most of the morning. Yeah, I'm checking back outside again, you guys. I can't believe this shit. And it always happens. This always happens around this time of the month. Because July will be over with and August will be here. So that means that a lot of people's birthdays are coming up. Happy birthday to everyone that's getting ready to celebrate a birthday. And it's really amazing to me. Amazing to me. I'm 51 years old. I've lived half of a century. Half of a century. A century is 100 years, but half of a century is 50 years. And I'm telling you the honest to goodness truth. I can't believe I'm still here. After everything that has happened, everything that has taken place, the people I've met, the certain situations I found myself in, this is unbelievable. Unbelievable. But my grandmother, she's in her 90s now. So she's not that far from being 100 years old soon. Her father, who came from the Cape Verdean Islands, He lived to be over 100. My grandmother's siblings, all her sisters are still living except for one. Aunt Pam, she passed away a few years ago. Aunt Pam is my grandmother's sister, and she is the grandmother of CL Smooth, the rapper, the dude that used to rap with Pete Rock. And I remember Pete Rock because we grew up in the same neighborhood in New York. He lived on Hillside, I lived on Brookside at that time. Because while I was growing up, I lived in different parts of Westchester County. And I remember going to school. I went to public school in Westchester County. I went through the public school system. I stayed in New York until I was 15 years old. I moved to South Carolina when I was 15. I went to the penitentiary when I was 22. They had locked me up on the original charge when I was 21. I went to the penitentiary at 22. I got out of the penitentiary when I turned 28. 2 years after that, I met my biological family. And then I think I waited like a good year or two, and then I ended up going back to New York. I did not leave New York until after my people were murdered in Newport News, Virginia. And I'm hearing these reports about this young lady that got killed not too long ago. I remember that young lady. I remember getting that report about that young lady. And I'm saying to myself, this stuff that has been happening in this country, it's not foreign. It's not foreign at all. A lot of people don't talk about it, but me in Baltimore used to talk about it all the time, about certain women that we knew who didn't make it. That's why I feel frustrated when I see KK, because I know KK is out there right now in the streets. And she doesn't have to be out there. There's no other reason for her to come back to Charleston, South Carolina. I believe she was living in Somerville with her sister. But she does this every year. She does this ever since I met that woman. I met that woman in 2018. I met her in 2018. And we hung together for a while. But I remember when everyone disappeared off the fucking street. I remember when all of them people disappeared. I remember when Birdman and all of them disappeared. Birdman disappeared. KK disappeared. Larry disappeared. Kendall disappeared. Everybody was disappearing. And then I disappeared. But I didn't go to the grave. I went into a fucking apartment. And I've been here for a while. I've been here since March of 2021. But like I said the other day, and you got some people on this app making demand. I mean, we got motherfuckers on this app. I mean, people gonna do what they do. But you got people on this app begging for cash apps every fucking day. You got the men doing it. You got the women doing it. And I'm like thinking to myself, I get up and go to work. Like if I really need something, I'll go work on someone's job. collect my money, pay whatever bill I need to pay, and keep it pushing, keep it moving. That's what I usually do. That's how I do. That's what I want to do. You know what I mean? But South Carolina, especially in Charleston, South Carolina, there has been an issue, a big problem with women disappearing. And I told you guys not too long ago, I went through my phone. I pressed in certain information and I got the answer I was looking for. Did it cause alarm to come in me? No, because I don't live with fear. I don't live in fear of anything or anyone. There's no time to be fearful of different people. There is no time. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy, but that's the situation. That is what's happening. You know, these women disappearing, and it happens every day, especially in certain parts of South Carolina. Now, a lot of women I know that live downtown, they live in the street. If I see them, if I run across them, and usually I do, and I go ahead and I give them the information. I write down the information that they need. I tell them, here, you go here, or you make this phone call. You're going to have to go there anyway, because you're going to have to fill out the paperwork. You're going to have to apply for some type of assistance of moving off the street. One of my homeboys talked to me the other day. Him and his family, they had moved out of the projects. One of the projects is down there in downtown Charleston. They had moved, and the program they're under, the people moved them into a motel not too far from here. And he was telling me, he said, yo, we in one room together, you know, da da da. And I know which motel they're staying at. And I said, that's a terrible neighborhood for them to be at. And he got kids with him. He got his wife there with him. So what did I do? I went in my phone. I found the different information that he needed. I gave it to him. I said, this is what you do. This is who you call. This is who you ask for. And he's doing it. He's doing it. That's one thing I can say. And he's from New York. I'm from New York. And one thing I do realize about myself, I'll look out for New Yorkers quicker than I will look out for anyone else. If you from New York and you down here in South Carolina, and I know you're having a hard time, I know you're having some kind of issue, guess what? Guess what? I'm going to help you out. I'm going to give you the information that you're looking for. No need to look any further. New Yorkers help New Yorkers. That's what we do. A lot of people from the South do not like New Yorkers. They don't. I've been living here in South Carolina for a couple of years, and I know what I know. Once they hear that New York accent, their whole attitude changes. Their face crumbles up. You know what I mean? It's crazy, but it's true. That is the definite hardest truth I could ever really say about the South. That's why I keep to myself. That's why I don't do no mixing up. That's why I'm not openly friendly with people I might be on the street, or if I don't know, I'm gonna put it like this: if I don't know you, I don't fuck with you. There's no need for me to hold a conversation with you. There's no need for me to speak to you. And there's been a lot of people that I work with at that particular company, and they said they'll see me walking down the street and they'll be like waving or whatever the case may be, and I'll just walk on past. I pretend they're ghosts. But I do that for my own protection. I do that to look out for me. Because I know how people can get down. I know how quick people can change up. And these men that live in the South are very case sensitive. Sometimes I'm wondering, are these really men, or are these women living inside a man's body? Because we got a lot of men that got a lot of feminine energy. It's a lot of men got a lot of feminine energy. Look on this app real close. You got a lot of men on this app got a lot of effeminate ways. They may look like a man, they may dress like a man, but they are feminine as hell. Shout out to the chat. Those that are not here, I know you'll catch the playback. Like and share the video. I gotta make a phone call today because I gotta let somebody know something. That's important it's important for that person to know, because certain people on this app, they're not happy with me at all. They're not pleased with me at all. I don't care. I told you who I was from the beginning. I told you who I was. I don't hide who I am. Not at all. A lot of people don't know what it means when I say the BT 1000. They don't know what it means when I say Jeeper Creeper, or Lucy the Vampire, or the German Shepherd in the goddamn room. They don't know what those 4 entities are. I think I broke down the Jeeper Creeper part. I think I broke that down for a lot of people that don't know what that is. They think it's a movie. No, Jeepers Creepers is actually people that are walking around, and they don't have enemies, they don't have friends, but they learn from everyone. Everyone on this app I have learned something from. Everyone. What do I do when I like a person? I want to commune with that person. I want to eat with that person. I want to break bread with that person. I learn what I learn. That becomes a part of me. That becomes a part of me. You know what I mean? Just like if I go on a job this morning and our job might be to push water all day. I've learned enough about those type of jobs, how long it's going to take for the whole job to be completed. How long it's going to take. And in my case, if I work at a steady pace and do what I need to do, I'm done with doing what I'm doing by 2 o'clock. I'm done. I'm on my phone. I'm calling the office, telling them, look, this is Arabia, I'm ready. I'm getting the ticket signed. I go to the waiting spot where I know the van is going to pull up at. I get into the van, I close the door, I put on my seatbelt, and I go back to the office. I hand in my ticket, I hand in my equipment that I borrowed that day. Because for certain companies, you can borrow the equipment that you need, the PPE gear that you need to go on certain jobs. On certain jobs, you don't need PPE. There's certain jobs you don't need that. Shout out to the chat. Hey, Crystal, good morning. It's good to see you, love. It's real good to see you. Yeah. But sometimes I can get the wrong perception of someone just because they're in a chat and I don't understand what they're saying, or I'm thinking that they're trolling me. It becomes an issue. But I'm glad I was able to speak with that person this morning because they went live. They went live. I went over there. I pressed into the comment section. Then I hit the link. And me and that young woman, we was able to talk. I wish we could have done that sooner. You know what I mean? I wish we would have did it on Barbie Girl Tina's channel, but it didn't happen that way. Crystal, did you watch Barbie Girl Tina? Did you watch Barbie Girl Tina yesterday? That was a darn good video. I'm going to have to go back over it today. If I don't go on the job, I'm going to go back over that video. Because I found it to be very interesting. Oh man, there was certain parts that took me by surprise. I was like, what? I can't believe it. But I know people are going to be people. We got a lot of free spirits on this app. These people, you know, they don't hold themselves in a box. Because some people in this world actually think you're supposed to be living in a box somewhere. No, we are three-dimensional beings. Like if I was to take a piece of paper and actually draw myself, and when you do a self-portrait or a portrait of anyone, if you're drawing it out and you want to get every little detail, every curve, everything right, it's going to take you hours to do it. It's not going to take you 7 minutes. It's not going to take you 10 minutes. It's not going to take you 15. If you really want that shit to look 3D, a reality drawing of someone, it's going to have 3D elements. It's not going to be two-dimensional. It's not going to be flat. I'm going to tell you like that. Human beings are not flat beings. We are 3D beings. 3 dimensionals. Of course, there's 9 dimensions of man, human. You know what I mean? It's 9 dimensions. Freedom of speech, that's what we're losing on this app. Freedom of speech. And I think I said it very well the other day. I think I said it very well because when I was in Barbie Girl Tina's chat, there was someone that was on her panel that said that they was angry with people going over into Empress Lonnie One Love's chat. They don't like to see her have people in her chat. And I typed in, I'll go where I want to go. If I'm paying my phone bill, if I'm fronting the bill for my phone bill or whatever device I'm on, I'm going to go wherever I want to go. And everyone else has the right to do whatever you want to do. Some people are subscribed to Double Speaks. I'm not subscribed to him. I don't care about him. He talks shit about me and Lonnie and a few others. He talks shit about us. Oh, this one goes over here, that one go over there. We go wherever we want to go. We're independent. We're not in a group. We're not in a cult. All that cult thinking, all that group thinking, that doesn't work for me. I don't work well with others. That's not a job I would want to go on. YouTube is not paying me, not at all. This channel is not monetized. Shout out to the ones that are monetized. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Be true to who you are. And sometimes I'm going to get it wrong. And I can admit when I'm wrong. And I was wrong for thinking that that particular young lady had some kind of issue with me and some kind of beef with me. And she had to remind me, she said, well, baby, I've seen you in other people's chats and we always speak to each other. And I think I spoke because usually if I don't speak to you individually, what I'll do, I'll say, shout out to the chat. I'll say stuff like that. Shout out to the chat. And I'll type it in big capital letters. Once I say shout out to the chat, I'm shouting out the host. I'm shouting out the moderators. I'm shouting out the panel that's up there. People that's participating in the chat. And a lot of times when I do that, certain people will be in the chat and they'll say, well, what's up, Arabia? Or they'll be like, hey, Arabia. Or they'll throw me some kind of smiley emojis. You know, it happens. It happens. You know? But yesterday, when I listened to Barbie Girl Tina Matrix channel, I was like, yo, and I'm so glad that Barbie Girl Tina comes to her channel and she opens up her channel like that. I'm glad she does it. And she does, she was doing, I remember those mornings Barbie Girl Tina would come on. And she would come on like 10 o'clock at night. And she probably wouldn't get off until 8 o'clock the next day. But when she does her videos are very entertaining. Very entertaining. Lonnie One Love, she's another one that opens up her channel and sometimes she'll hold discussions. You know what I mean? Everyone has a voice. And if you got an issue with somebody in the chat and Lonnie knows about it, she'll actually let those people hit the link and let them talk it out. Brown Skin Lady does this. Shout out to Brown Skin Lady. Shout out to Lonnie One Love. Shout out to those women. Shout out to Barbie Girl Tina. Because I think y'all three are the only three that allow people to do that. 86K, aka Garrett. From what I understand, he allows people to do that over there when he goes live. I don't look at him. I'm not a big fan of him. I will never be a big fan of a zombie, a mindless zombie that follows KB everywhere. Uh-uh. I can't be that way. I never liked KB because I remember the days of Tommy Sotomayor. I remember when Tommy did those videos. I think it was in 2021. And I remember listening to him because he held some bona fide videos. And a lot of times he would allow people to hit the link and come in and speak with him, and a discussion would get started. A discussion would get started. Hassan Campbell, he's not that way. He don't have discussions on his channel. He just puts up his camera and he does his video, and that's that. Sometimes I'll drop my link, sometimes I won't. Hold on. Because usually I drop my link. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But you know. And a lot of times when I'm on YouTube, what I'll do, I won't even go into a certain channel, especially if I see the title of the channel or the title of the video, that might not interest me. So what I do, I'll go to other places on YouTube. I'll go and listen to Ashley Say So. She does celebrity gossip, old celebrity gossip. I'll go over there and listen to her, or I'll watch a movie, or I'll watch a documentary. Lately, I've been watching a lot of stuff pertaining to Tupac Shakur. I've been watching a lot of stuff that he did before he died. You know what I mean? The young man was raised to be he was raised in the home of a Black Panther. He grew up being influenced by that. My biological mother, she was a part of the Nation of Islam for years, from 1968 all the way to 1974. She left the mosque in 1974. Right after she left the mosque, that is when me and my brother ended up going to foster care. And we stayed there. Because my mother could never get herself together. My mother had an issue. My mother had a problem. She's sober now. My mother's been over 40 years sober. She lives a sober lifestyle. The only thing she does is smoke her little cigarettes. That's about it. I grew up in a home where they didn't want you to know certain things about life. One of my brothers, and I think I explained this before, he became a Phi Beta Sigma. He became a Phi Beta Sigma when he was young. He got into the lessons. He got into the books. And To this day, I believe he's still a Five Basana. I still believe he part of that nation, gods and earths. I believe he's still a part of it. Because his philosophy about life has not changed. Not one bit. He held on to those beliefs. He shared a lot of what he was learning with us. A lot about history, about the Native Americans, about the African blacks, about white people, different countries. We started becoming socially aware of certain things when we were still teenagers. When I left from South Carolina, I went to Job Corps. I went all the way to Mississippi. I went to Batesville, Mississippi. That's I want to say it's like an hour away from Memphis, Tennessee. It's south of there. I went there. I stayed there for 6 months. I went and got my GED, and I went and got me a skill. When I came out of Job Corps, I started working. And then unfortunately for me, I ended up going down the wrong pathway. And I'm not blaming nobody else because I made my own decisions. And like I said before, did nobody invite me to the fucking penitentiary? My inmate number was 221644. I did 6 years and 7 months. The penitentiary is not capable of handling or treating inmates that might be suffering from some kind of mental illness. In my case, major depression, recurrent, borderline personality disorder, anxiety, PTSD. I was a self-mutilator. Yeah. So it's different parts of me that I know that exist. And I don't run from it. I don't hide from it. I embrace it. I accept it. That's what it's all about. You know what I mean? But yeah, the link is dropped. I find it very interesting that there's certain people on this app, right? They'll do a video, right? And they'll be talking about like they talking about this young lady that just recently got killed. Recently was murdered in cold blood. We all know when it's time for election, it's time for these elections to happen, certain things are done. You know what I mean? We've seen it happen over and over and over again. I don't know if anybody remembers Sandra Bland. Anybody remember Sandra Bland? She was a young lady that was on social media a lot. And she ended up getting arrested by the police. And they killed her in that jail. And then they tried to say that she killed herself. A lot of you don't remember Sandra Bland. I remember her. I remember the footage that they by that police officer. I remember them doing a traffic stop on that woman, and they ended up killing that woman. So the murder of women is not a strange thing. It happens all the time. And who is the biggest culprits of women being killed? If they're not being killed by their boyfriend or their husband, they usually are murdered by a police officer. I don't know if anybody realizes it, but the police departments across America are filled with corruption. We got a lot of crooked cops out here. And I think I shared about it. Hey, good morning. Caesar, you remember that? You remember Sandra Bland? See, a lot of people don't remember her. What I'm going to do, I'm going to find that video if I can. There is a YouTube video showing what the police did to that woman, and she ended up dying. She ended up dead. But it's always been my personal experience that if the woman is not being killed by her husband or her boyfriend, it's usually the police that kill them. It's usually a police officer that kills these women. I think I shared about it on my bigger channel, how I was living in New York, how I was living right there in Yonkers. I lived on Saratoga Avenue for many years. I lived there until I moved back to South Carolina. But I lived there on Saratoga Avenue. I had a friend who lived on Hawthorne Avenue. Hawthorne. And there was one particular day she asked me to come over there to come see about her. So I went over there, went to go see about her. And then she was like, "Oh, baby, I need you to walk with me up the street. We going over there by the school projects." I said, "Oh, we going, okay, all right." I already knew which area she was talking about. We walked up there, and there was this long line of people standing out there. Like, what? I said, "What's going on around here? Ain't no store. This ain't no store." The police were out there. They were selling drugs and guns to the people on the street. It was the police. They had their guns on their hip and they had their shields. A little chain around their neck with the shield on it. A lot of the police officers and from that particular police department, Yonkers, New York, a lot of them were kidnapping the women and killing them. I want somebody to tell me I'm lying. I don't trust the police. I have a very strong opinion about the police. And it's never going to go away. Now, don't get me wrong. We got some good cops and you got some bad cops. And unfortunately, I run across a lot of crooked cops. One of my cousins, she was a police officer for many, many years. And she talked about how she got on drugs. How they used to raid different drug dealers' homes, how they would rob the drug dealer, how they would take the money, how they would assault those people, and sometimes they threw those people in jail. There's certain places in New York, they got different bodegas up. The police go in there, simply tell the store owner they want their ice. In other words, they're extorting those bodega owners, telling them you got to pay us protection money. And if you don't, this is what's going to happen. And one particular day, Poppy didn't pay that money. And don't you know one of his relatives that worked in the store ended up getting killed? Not too far from White Plains, New York. We called him Slim. Yeah. Thank you, Caesar. Thank you for saying that. Because I thought I was really going crazy in my mind for saying what I said last night. I guess one of the other YouTube creators was doing a video about that woman that got killed not too long ago. I believe a police officer killed that one. I'm not really for certain. I got to go back in my text messages and get that the woman's name. But it's been going on for years. Sandra Bland, I'll never forget her. I'll never forget Sandra Bland. I'll never forget how that police officer treated her that particular day. What they did to her that day, how they treated her that day, how they took her and put her in that jail, and the next thing I know, baby girl ended up dead. See, Caesar said he remembered everything. People got to start remembering. When that lady told me this morning that she's a community activist, I said, oh, that's what my niece wanted to be. I remember before Sierra died, that's what she told me. And I told her, I said, you want to grow up and you want to go into forensics, you want to, do this, you want to do this. She said, no, Honor Baby, I want to be a community activist. I want to go out there in the community and protest against police corruption, against anything dealing with the man. That's what she told me. But she never made it past 15. She was cut down in 2011. The whole family was wiped out. There was only one survivor. And to this day, I can't stand John Moses Reagan. But I keep him fresh on my mind because I know before my sister-in-law got killed, she went to the court. She went wherever she had to go to get that order of protection. There's a 911 call that Sergeant Crystal Reagan did before she died. Every now and then, I'll go and listen to it. And I will remember how the police failed. But I can't blame them. I got to blame her because she knew what kind of dude she was marrying. She divorced my brother. She divorced my younger brother, Michael. But before she divorced him, she had 2 children by Michael. She had Sierra and she had Laquan. She divorced my brother, and maybe not too long after she divorced him, she ended up marrying the dude that decided to kill her and her whole family. And then he tried to burn down that particular apartment. Before I left Newport News, Virginia, I watched them because my sisters ended up moving from Warwick Boulevard and they moved into that certain area that Sergeant Crystal Reagan. Matter of fact, they lived in the apartments not too far. But when she died, they wasn't living there. They was living on Warwick. I remember them living on Warwick Boulevard at that time. Now I'm starting to realize for myself why I get so paranoid and angry when I think about certain things, certain situations. So I'm not angry with nobody on this app. Nobody. But one thing I do know, I'm going to tell everybody like this: take me as I am or have nothing at all. And the words of Mary J. Blige, take me as I am or have nothing at all. Some people do take me as I am, but you got others that don't. They'll tell you, oh yeah, you know. But deep down inside, I just said that, you know. Out of all the women I'm subscribed to on this app, I can honestly say I can count on my hand how many of the women are not afraid of Arabia Barbosa. I can count on my hand those that I am subscribed to. You know how you feel about me. You let me know. There is no hidden secrets. There is no talking behind the scenes. What you get, what you see is what you get. What you see is what you get. Yeah. I got people in my life that have been subscribed to my channel, whatever channel I might be on. There's very few people that actually stick with me. Shout out to my support team. Shout out to my moderators. Even though I don't have any moderators on this channel right now. I don't. I think I moderate for myself pretty good. Maybe I do need to get some moderators over here. You know, bring more traction to the channel. But a lot of times I'll go live like early in the morning. Or I'll go live late at night. Or there's no consistent time. I usually like going live between 4 and 8 o'clock in the morning. I usually like to do that. And I'll do that. I will do all of that and be happy with myself. But sometimes you can get the wrong perception of someone just because maybe they might have spoke something in the chat, or whatever the case may have been. You know what I mean? I could be wrong about something. You know what I mean? And in my case, I was wrong about that young lady, Writers for Life. I was wrong about her. She's a very nice young lady. Young. Smart. I appreciate that. But like I said, there's been certain instances where I would leave from my channel and go in someone else's chat. And, there might be like one person in there, want to, say something to me. And I take it wrong. But usually what I do, like if I'm having issues with someone in the chat and the link is dropped, I'll go and hit the link. And I'll tell the host about it. I'll be like, hey, let this person come up. Maybe me and this person need to have a conversation. I've done that on this channel. No, not on this channel, but my bigger channel. I had a bigger channel than this. I'm just watching what's going on these YouTube streets. We got people that say that they don't like, I'm going to give an example, Garrick, for instance. My thing is, why watch his content if you don't like him? And the only reason why I know about him is because sometimes he'll hit certain people's link, or he'll be in the chat somewhere. You know what I mean? I just don't like his delivery. And I don't like his perception on things. And I'm not down with anyone that follows after Kwame Brown. I'm not down with that. A lot of his people left from him. They created their own channels. They doing their own thing. Some people like them, some people don't. Some people agree with them, some people disagree with them. I'm always going to have my own opinion and my own mind, and I'm always going to move the way I want to move. I don't belong to no sector. I don't belong to any YouTube creator. I'm not down with any YouTube creator channels. I might be friendly with them, and that's it. I respect them. I do. Certain people I gotta be aware of. That's the only thing I can say. But I think I've been up here a little too long. But I had to get up. I had to go and monitor the weather. Because I already know what's getting ready to happen today, but it is what it is. Shout out to the chat. I'm out of here. This is your homegirl, Arabia Barbosa, 914, Washington County, New York. I'm out of here. I hope everyone has an awesome day. Hope everyone has an awesome day today. You know what I mean? Thank you for coming over. Thank you for visiting with me. It is what it is. We're coming close to the weekend, so happy Thursday to everyone. Happy birthday to those that are celebrating their birthday. And today, it's just one of those days. I'm out of here, y'all. Y'all have a good one. Bless everyone. Hope everyone has an awesome day today. The best thing I can do is, as far as anyone else is concerned, like I already talked about me. I already talked about me most mostly in this video. I mostly will talk about myself, but I remember that they're doing this. They're doing this this reporting about this young lady that got killed not too long ago. But I always remember Sandra Bland. I remember the women that came before this woman. I remember Yaz Williams. I remember a lot of women that were murdered by the police. I remember when Winnie Mandela was in South Africa fighting for the rights of her people when they locked up Nelson Mandela. Winnie Mandela was married to Nelson Mandela. They was husband and wife. They had messed around and put Nelson Mandela on trial for treason. He was facing the death penalty. They ended up giving him life in prison. He ended up doing 27 years. They ended up releasing him. But while he was there, while he was incarcerated, Winnie Mandela went out there and she was holding rallies. I mean, she was doing whatever she had to do to get freedom for her people and her country. And while she was doing that work, while she was doing that wonderful work, they had came and put her in jail. A lot of you don't know that. You don't know that they had incarcerated Winnie Mandela. They were trying to charge her with treason. They released her out of her incarceration. They allowed her to go back home, but then they kept banning her in her own hometown. The government came and banned her from being there. There was plenty of times people tried to kill Winnie Mandela. So she ended up meeting up with this one dude. He was a coach. He had a football club. They became her security. Look at what they did to Fannie Lou Hamer. A lot of you don't know who that is. Do some research. Do some research. They got Asanta Shakur still on the most wanted list. The woman is what, 73, 74 years old? She's a senior citizen. They say that she's guilty of the crimes that she committed while she was here in this country. I fail to believe any of that. Because I know what they do to Black women or any women that stand up and try to fight for rights and to be treated fairly. You see it all through history, what they do to our women. I'm talking about the Black women. What they did to those women was wrong. They want to capture this woman, Sister Shakur. She's down there in Cuba. If she ever steps foot back in the United States, they plan on doing some terrible things to her. Look what they did to Betty Shabazz. Look what they did to her. Look at what they did to Shirley Chisholm when she was in Congress. She was up there. She was representing her district in Brooklyn, New York at the time. And they was giving her all kinds of hard way to go. I remember when that woman ran for president. I remember. Well, I remember reading about it. I didn't, I remember reading. Because I grew up in New York. So there were certain things talked about. They talked about certain people. They talked about Billie. Look at what they did to Billie Holiday. That was seriously wrong. And the police, right along with the FBI, was down with that shit. Oh, good morning, daughter of Zion. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in, daughter of Zion. It's good to see you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for coming in. That's the only thing I'm saying. So what's going on today with these women getting killed by the police and certain things happening? These things have happened in the past. Shirley Chisholm stayed in Congress until Ronald Reagan came into the White House. He had that thing going on, Reaganomics. They still use that bullshit to this day. She ended up leaving Congress once he got into that chair. Because she saw him for who he really was. He was a racist. A lot of people don't want to admit that. That man was truly a racist, just like most of the presidents of the United States. And I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm going to keep talking about it. I don't care who get mad. I don't care who get upset. You know, some people get mad at me for talking about the police. That is my opinion about them. They are crooked. They are dirty. They are behind a lot of the murders and the disappearing and the kidnapping of Black women in this country. Yes, they are. They are behind it. They push drugs into the neighborhood. They push the guns back into the neighborhood. They go to the store owners and extort them for money. It's a lot of extortion going on. My thing is, if they release the booty warrior on parole and let him be on the streets, why they can't do the same thing for Willie Bosket? Why they can't do the same thing for King David or Jeff Ford or any of those men that's still in prison? They already killed Tookie Williams. They already killed Tookie Williams. They say he went down for murder. No, he went down because he and Raymond Washington was able to gather Black men together and march to protect their own neighborhoods. The same thing T. Rogers did. He was a Black Peace Stone. He was from Chicago. He moved to California when he was a young man. He started a fraction out there. But he could not do that without the permission of his Black Peace Stone people that was in Chicago. We had the Black Panther Party out here. I'm talking about the one that was out here during the 60s. Remember when they did the Children's March down there in Alabama? And how they put the water hose on those children, how they suck the dogs on them, how they put these children in jail, had them there for 2 weeks, almost a month. They were separated from their families. Why? Because they wanted to march for civil rights and for your freedom and my freedom. That's what they were doing. When Martin Luther King was out there was marching, he was not popular. Not at that time. Malcolm X was not popular at that time. Clarence 13X, aka Father Allah, was not popular at that time. Elijah Muhammad was not popular at that time. Noble Drew Ali was not popular at that time. Father Divine, he was not popular at that time. Marcus Garvey was not popular at that time. We need our own political party, people. We need our own political party. Because me personally, I am so tired of this two-party domination in this country. Call it whatever you want to call it. But we need our own political party. Look at what they did to Fannie Lou Hamer. Fannie Lou Hamer joined the Democratic Party because she wanted to be a part of that. She wanted to be a part of that movement. They didn't want her to be a part of it. So what did they do? They branched off from that and they created their own Democratic Party. Black people were doing that all over the country. They couldn't get into certain parties, so they would branch off and make their own. What happened? I'm out of here, y'all. Y'all have an awesome day. Peace. And thanks for everyone that came in. Shout out to Crystal. Shout out to Caesar. Shout out to Daughter of Zion. Shout out to my Ghost Watchers. Shout out to you. Those that are not here will catch the playback. It is what it is. Have an awesome day, everyone. Peace.